Hi guys, Grant Nelson again here with the Mustache Off-Grid YouTube channel. In case you're new to the channel, I cover various off-grid and homesteading topics. I live off-grid in southern Missouri in a one-room cabin. I'm currently building a log cabin by hand, which I'll have some more videos of in the future. And I cover various homesteading and off-grid topics. I might have already said that, but anyway, today I'm going to talk a little bit about an interesting topic that was sent to me by Adam Smith in Arkansas. And the topic that he asked me about was, what are the benefits of living a modern homesteading life? Is there any benefits in modern homesteading? Basically, what's the rationale, the differences and benefits, between doing it modern style and doing it old-fashioned, 1800 style as far as off-grid living and homesteading. For me personally, I think there's a great peace of mind in not having as many electronics around me, personally. I think that there's a lot of people that probably know or have at least thought, that there's a lot of surveillance going on with electronics. Cell phones, computers, tablets, whatever, Bluetooth type stuff. Personally, I don't care about that so much. That's all a conspiracy in my mind. I mean, no doubt it's happening, but it's still a conspiracy in my mind. I don't have proof of it. But also, I just think that there's a great peace to not having so much electronics and living in such an artificial environment. For me personally, it feels very artificial the more electricity I use. And I mean, I do use electricity because there's certain things that make sense. I use some solar, for my well pump, for some of my lights, to run my freezer that I just got recently. So I mean, there's some things that I do use solar for, that, and some electricity, because it just makes sense. As far as efficiency goes, if it was the 1800s, they'd be using it too, if they had the availability of it at that time. Because sometimes things just make sense as far as the efficiency, cost-benefit analysis, etc. if you're living off-grid. I do think that there's a benefit as far as being prepared. If you live kind of a modern lifestyle and just live in town but have your whole setup off grid, you're obviously going to be prepared if there's ever some great catastrophe or whatever, at least according to all the prepping channels out there. But truth be told, most people don't really know exactly how those things are going to go because there's so many different variables involved. And there's also a, how can I put it? There's a, let's see here. How would you put it? There's a difference in level of different catastrophes. Like there's a difference between an earthquake, a nuclear warhead, and, some sort of urban civil war. There's a difference. One could cause the other, but there's also a difference in how long those things are going to last. And as far as being prepared, how long you need to be prepared for natural disasters compared to people disasters, economic disasters, etc. I guess you'd say. Different categories, floods, whatever. There's levels to those things on how long you need to be prepared for, generally speaking. I'm not a prepper. This isn't a prepping channel, but that's one of the benefits, obviously, to modern homesteading. And if you wanted to kind of live a normal lifestyle, work a 9 to 5, but just have all your hookups off grid and homestead a little bit, maybe produce some of your own food, I think that's another benefit, is that you're going to have a lot healthier food. If you're raising it yourself, sometimes it's a lot cheaper, especially if you're raising your own meat, and you're processing it yourself. So those are some benefits for sure. The main benefit reason that I live off grid, though, is personally because I enjoy it. I enjoy not having all the electronics around. I have a great peace of mind. And to me, I'm kind of seceding from society in my existence. I'm really not interested in being a part of it. Sure, I get some things from the store, but my end goal is, complete self-sufficiency, which very few people in human history have ever been fully self-sufficient. And, as far as it goes, I have the ability to be, but it'd be very uncomfortable to be 100% self-sufficient. Very uncomfortable. If it ever comes down to it, I'm sure I could. I could go out in the woods and I could just live off the land if I needed to. I know how to. But at the same time, it'd be a hard life. And there's still certain things that just make sense economically and just in today's world, that there's still some things that I enjoy. And there's still some things that you need from the store that make things a lot easier, that would be a lot harder than going out in the woods and carving something out of wood and making rocks, or mining your own metal, things like that. Some things just make sense to get from the store. And that's one of the benefits of kind of living a modern lifestyle, I guess. You have that ease and that comfort. But like I said, for me, I think a lot of it's a mentality as far as off-grid living, on separating from society, getting away from the system, which I think is becoming less and less reliable. The food's less nutritious. The benefit it provides is less beneficial. In fact, I think it's starting to become harmful because everyone lives in an artificial world, artificial environment, and everything's a little bit too comfortable, I almost would say. There's the old adage and quote, hard times create strong men and good times create weak men. And, it's kind of how it goes, something like that. And, it's true. And it trickles down into the government, leadership, everything like that. I think we got some good times ahead, hopefully. But it's going to take a lot to turn the world around, in my opinion. But I just have a peace out here, kind of trying to be separate from society. I don't have, not working a 9 to 5, nothing against that. I have a lot of time to work on things that are valuable to me and not valuable to someone else. I think that slowly over the 20th century, people have traded their ability to produce food, water, and shelter, and entertainment even. They've slowly traded that away to corporations for ease and comfort of living, because it's easy. And I think that they're losing quality doing that. And they're also losing the ability to produce those things themselves. So that in a sense, they're almost losing freedoms by going to a job every day, working 9 to 5 till you die, or till you retire. We'll say 59 and a half, you retire. So the best years of your life, the prime, you're working for some other person, and then you get to retire and enjoy the last years when you're decrepit and you're no longer useful. To me, I'd rather just live off the land, get some land, and just be self-sufficient and live out here and live a cheap, simple, and cost-effective life. I think that sometimes, we got the keeping up with the Joneses mentality. We always need something new, and you're never going to be happy with it. And to me, off-grid living is kind of a secessionist mindset to me. But everyone's got their own. It's a free country for everyone to do things how they want, and I don't have anything against working. I might work sometimes for some people or do some things, but I've got businesses and things I'm working on to try to produce an income off my land, and I'm blessed in that regard. But as far as it goes, it's a mindset for me. The difference between just living in a big, 3-bedroom house in town off the grid and living out in the countryside, far away from town, and kind of trying to be separate from people. I'm not the type that likes the HOA mentality, and more and more, I've kind of started to realize that, out of every 10 people, you're going to get a couple that ruin it for everyone else, because they don't like the how tall your fence is built. And, that's one thing to me, I think, is one reason to kind of be further away. I just don't like that personally. And, I like living in a place where it's free and, I can build what I want and grow my own food and produce my own stuff. And, that's just an opinion on it. It's an opinion. This is all an opinion piece. It's kind of interesting, too, that talking about that, in my opinion, the secessionist type of mentality, as far as off-grid living, seceding from the system. I watched a documentary a while ago about the hippie movement, and a lot of them built communes, and not a lot of them were successful, but it was interesting because that was their same mentality. But, I'm complete opposite of that. I'm not for the drugs, sex, and, whatever movement. That's not my thing. It's just a completely different style than I am personally. But I think the mindset of separating from the system and society, that's one thing that I'm kind of on the same page with, in a way. And as far as that goes, I did some research previously, and I think it was reading that in about 1870, in the United States, 90% of people lived rurally and farmed. And then I think when it came to about 1890, it was about 70%. And then around like 1910 or 1920, somewhere around there, with the Industrial Revolution coming into play, it went down to about 60% or 50%, something like that. Pretty low number. And now only about 3% of the population farms. There's a little more that live rurally, maybe like 20%, but only about 3% of the population produces the food for the rest of the country because agricultural practices have become so efficient. But I also think that they lack quality. I think that people have been lured into the city living and, the modern lifestyle, like we talked about. And I'm kind of trying to get back to the old lifestyle. I think there's some creature comforts and some human instincts that we don't get to use, working in an office or, working a 9 to 5. Certain things, there's certain instincts about producing your own food, hunting, fishing, being out in the sun, different things like that. Instead of just getting dollars, you actually get the product. And there's something about that where humans just enjoy that practice. You'd be surprised, personally, if you aren't homesteading. Just something that I've found. And, things get better every year. You learn new things, you gain new knowledge about the land you live on and what works for gardening and what doesn't and things like that. It's a continual learning process. What was I going to say? So anyway, I think that people have kind of traded that freedom of country living for the ease of more modern city style industrial type job type living. That's just an opinion on it. For me, I think that's really the only difference between just wanting to live off grid and live a normal lifestyle and living off grid to completely secede from the system and be almost like the Amish. That's kind of how I try to structure my lifestyle. I still use some things that make sense that they wouldn't use, but and I think a lot of it for me personally is a strong foundation with God. with Jesus Christ, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. You know, that's just my opinion. You know, of course, everyone has their own reasons for wanting to live off grid. There's probably 100 different reasons that people could come up with or more. But I think there's just something in your soul that people just have natural instincts. I believe they're God-given instincts for producing their own stuff and having some of those freedoms. You know, no one wants to live a life of servitude or slavery, you know, in a way. And it comes to a point, if you are working a job, that if you do it long enough and you're at a place where someone does treat you that way, then maybe at some point you might decide, hey, you know, it's a free country. You know, I'm free to leave. And you might just do it. But anyway, that's just a ramble, guys. Just kind of an opinion on certain things. Like I said, I'm not against, you know, living a modern lifestyle or anyone doing anything the way they want. It's a free country. You know, I'm not trying to control anyone's lives or push my opinions on people, but it was a question I got from a viewer on, you know, the differences between modern homesteading and rural homesteading and the benefits and analysis, and a lot of them, you know, cross each other. You can have some of the same benefits both ways, but at the same time, I really think the big difference is just the mentality. Trying to separate from the system, and that's what I'm trying to do personally. And like I said, you know, everyone's free to live how they want. It's a free country. So for now anyway. Yeah, that's kind of just a ramble for today, guys. A couple more updates. I did get the bike going, so I'll probably post a short video on my channel, you know, showing me riding it or something maybe. It was changed the spark plug, changed the gas, got it running. Finally, I just had to get the compression right. The log cabin's still coming along good. It's supposed to pour rain tomorrow, so I haven't started on the roof. I'm probably going to start on that tomorrow. I'll probably videotape that process for the channel for you guys to see. Anyway, that's mostly what I'm working on. I built a hotbed, so I might put some of that in a video soon for gardening. And yeah, anyway, hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching. God bless. If you enjoy the content, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. I try to do weekly videos. You know, I've been behind for a few months, but I'm going to keep posting content, and you know, hope you guys enjoy it. Hope someone found this interesting. Anyway, have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Sit. Sit. Good boy. Good boy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make Bailey famous for YouTube. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching.